Hello, welcome to the Vault. My name is Jake, and I am your host here tonight at the Vault, and I welcome you. Hope your Tuesday night is going well. And of course, I lead off with my phone going off. Great job, me. So anyway, welcome in. Hope you're having a great Tuesday night, and I thank you for joining me tonight. It's been a fun ride so far with the Vaults of yesteryear, and I wanted to kind of start off tonight and just take some time to thank all of you for being members and have subscribed to the channel. In the last week, I noticed that we've picked up several, and I do appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope that you enjoy what we're doing here, and I want you to participate and be part of things. So, if you get a chance and see that I'm streaming on Tuesdays and Fridays, then drop in if you have time and chat. Tell us what you want. What do you want to see? What do you like? What do you want to know more about? I'm open to suggestions and would love to hear from the community about what it is that you'd like to see me cover. So anyway, I just wanted to thank you because I do this for fun. It's something that I wanted to start just so I can really just have a good time spending some of my evenings talking about the things that I like and connecting with some other people that also have some of the same interests. So thanks, I do appreciate it. And if you enjoy what is going on here, then please feel free to share it with your friends. So, hey Jim, Kathy, welcome in. Thanks for joining tonight. We have a few things to talk about. We're going to hit some news here in a little bit, and then talk about the One Ring tonight. So we got some interesting topics on our plate, but I did want to start off and just kind of talk a little bit about the changes that are happening here as far as content and what we're talking about and things like that. So some people like the solo content and some people like the more traditional RPG stuff. I like a little of both, so we're going to talk a little bit about both as we go along here. But there'll be more topics and more things in the future. I would probably look at seeing more deep dives into kind of the theory and behind RPGs, like crunchiness versus rules light. We're even probably going to talk about accessibility for disabled players. I have one in my group who's legally blind, and we're probably going to have him on and talk about that a little bit at some point. So be looking forward to it. So anyway, I think right now let's dive in and take a look at some of the things that I've found this week, and would be interesting to talk about. Let me bring that up. Jim says, I him. Yes, Jim, you are the blind player. That's right. So, way to self-identify there. Okay, so let me clear this banner. Get it out of the way. Okay, so the first thing here, and this comes from Dicebreaker, and it's talking about the Wizards of the Coast released an alternate cover for their new D&D Player's Handbook, and they had one. Their original cover was fine. I'll just read here what it says. Last week saw the unveiling of the artwork for the front cover of the Player's Handbook for their next version of D&D, depicting classic characters from the history of the RPG, such as Strongheart, Elkhorn, and Yolandi, the Elven Queen. in the front cover shows a party of D&D adventurers and heroes preparing to fight against a horde of kobolds, classic D&D enemy, with a friendly golden dragon standing behind. Yes, I sure can. I didn't realize it was that loud. There, hopefully that fixed it. You can let me know. So, that's fine. We had they have their typical, artwork, which is okay, but of late, Wizards of the Coast and artwork have not really been firing on all cylinders, in my opinion. And this week sees the release of their alternate version, which is this guy right here. So we've got a gold dragon with a number of adventurers sitting around boiling a pot of tea and having a little talk and a little cozy chat as the front cover of their player's handbook for Dungeons and Dragons, the game of killing your bad guys and collecting their loot. So, again, we've got a little bit of a, I don't know, it's a little bit of a mismatch in my opinion. There seems to be this trend lately of this cozy gaming. People sitting around and spending time in bakeries and drinking tea and having a little chit chats and things like that. And I guess that's fine in certain settings, but I want my adventure, right? I want my adventure and killing the bad guys and getting the treasure hoard and those kind of things. So. It's just interesting that we're offering alternate book covers for something that seems pretty far outside of the scope of the game, in my opinion. It says, by contrast, the artwork for the front cover of the new version of the alternate version of the handbook was revealed soon afterwards, showing a much different approach. Designed for collectors or players who aren't keen on the appearance of the standard version, this one, the alternate versions don't differ much from their standard counterparts beyond the outside aesthetics and front cover. So I guess the only thing I can say about this picture is up here at the top, we have this, looks like an assassin sitting on the gold dragon's tail up here. I guess if I was looking for something, maybe they're getting ready to just drop and slaughter these adventurers down below here in a fit of madness, maybe. I don't know, but just trying to add a little bit of excitement and thrill to the cover there, maybe. But anyway, I just thought I would share that with you guys. Very interesting take from our friends over at Wizards of the Coast, right? So. Anyway, the next thing I wanted to show you was a new release from Joseph McCullough, who is the author of Rangers of Shadow Deep. Now, this is a game that I'm pretty familiar with. I've played several times with my local group of friends, and I've also rented at a game store several times where it was a pretty big hit. It's a simple blend of tabletop skirmish and RPG light, where each person plays a character and you go through pre-set up scenarios that involve minor skill checks and things like that. But mostly it's about throwing dice and killing the enemies, right? Let's see. Jim says, can't we all get good game along? Yeah, I understand what you mean, Jim. Yeah, can't we just get a good game there, right? Matt, plan to pick this up next time I see it in the wild. So yeah, I think you played the game once or twice when we played it at Hero Quest, if I'm not mistaken, Matt. so Ranger, it's fully available in drive-through, and I think you can get a print on demand of it. I doubt you're going to see it in stores much, because it's pretty much a niche product, but it's well supported. There's a new supplement that came out for it not too long ago that gives a lot more character options and things like that. And then they continue to release adventures just like this one, which is what Ash and Sky is. So it says it's a collection of Rangers of Shadow Deep material that originally appeared on the creator's Patreon, Games from the Grave. It includes 3 standalone scenarios set within Shadow Deep for Rangers of level 10 plus, and a new selection of 10-point companions that are available to all Rangers, and 52 unique magic items to be found. So it's good to continue to see this product supported. The scenarios are interesting. The gameplay is fast, yet it's good, and it's really a great table game for just an adventure night that you want to, if you don't have a good plan for your RPG, or if you want a little break this out, throw it on the tabletop, mix in some really nice themed terrain, and you can have a great game. Your players are going to have fun. You'll have fun. You don't even need a GM. Everybody can play at the same time. It's a good go. I would certainly recommend this game as, if not your main game, certainly as a side or pickup type game. So yeah, take a look at it. It's worth it. There's a lot of products here. I'll jump at, no, let's see if I search here. And let's see. Sometimes drive-through RPG can be a little finicky on searching, but let's see. I'll go back out to the main site. Yeah, there we go. There they are. So, yeah, Matthew, the one I was talking about that recently came out. Let's see. There it is. It is Rangers of Shadow Deep, A Gathering of Heroes. So that's the one that has a lot more class and ability options and things like that. So if you pick up the core rulebook, I would certainly look at grabbing that one as well. And like I said, I think they're available as print on demand. No, not here. Maybe they used to sell this through. I forgot the name. I forgot the name of that other company that he publishes through. But just do a search. You'll probably be able to find it and pick up a hardback of it too, like I did. Oh, it's Modifius. Yeah, I see Modifius there. So jump over to Modifius and look and see if you can grab it. But as you can see, there's a ton of adventures and scenario setups there for you to be had, and there's even a handful of fan-made stuff too. But anyway, it's kind of a personal project for Joe McCullough. It's a game that he likes and he continues to support well. So anyway, that's Rangers of Shadow Deep. And then the next thing I wanted to talk about here was some of the things going on over at Hero Forge. If you're not familiar with Hero Forge, it is it's a site where you can go and design custom miniatures through this 3D interface, and you can switch out all kinds of things. It's almost like creating a character in a very in-depth RPG computer game, because you can fit it out, you can even color the parts, and then when you're done with that, you can buy the digital asset to put into a virtual tabletop, or you can purchase physical copies of the miniature. They'll print it out and send it to you. They'll even send it out painted, supposedly. And we'll talk about that a little bit more here in a little bit. But this comes from Sea Light Studios, his blog, Liam Mills here, talking about Hero Forge, Daggerheart, and the Free the Forge controversy. So seems that Hero Forge and its parent company, Sky Castle Studios, recently landed itself in hot water following a partnership deal with Darrington Press, the indie publisher behind Matt Mercer's spinoff Daggerheart RPG. As part of the partnership deal, Hero Forge now offers a suite of assets for use in character creation inspired by characters and playable ancestries within Daggerheart. Now, don't get me wrong. I certainly applaud Hero Forge for going out and getting some licensed stuff. It's a good way to get their brand out in front of people, especially with the huge audience from, Critical Role and all that stuff. So Hero Forge is offering a premium membership program where users can spend between $4 and $15 each month to receive certain benefits, such as early bird assets, kit bashing, and so forth. However, the Daggerheart collaboration is not part of the premium program, and users are going to have to pay $8 on top of their existing subscription to access these assets. So apparently there's custom character builds and models that are specific to the Daggerheart stuff, and they're going to charge a premium of $8 on top of what they're already paying if you have a subscription to Hero Forge. So, you can certainly see there's people that are going to be not too happy about that. And, here we go with microtransactions again, right? So, I don't see, I see why they're doing it. They're trying to get some steam out of this license deal here. But I think layering this on top of your premium seems a little much. Maybe they could have done something like a little bit of a discount, premium plus Daggerheart, and you get some kind of, I don't know. But anyway, people are pretty upset. So the main criticism is that the whole business feels a bit scummy. This is a market model we've seen countless times, paying both for a subscription as well as for individual purchases that are treated as premium plus. Yeah, and that, that makes sense. And so, I'll tell you my experience with it is they have a good product. You can go in and design your characters and really try out different looks and things like that. Even if you don't buy the miniature digitally or physically, you can you can go in and just kind of test it out and play with it and get kind of a mental picture of your own character, right? So that's a good thing about Hero Forge. I told you before that I use Tailspire, and that software allows you to import your digital models into it to use in 3D in that software program, and that's pretty cool too. But their miniature side of it is very expensive. The minis cost a lot. Jim, in fact, has ordered. Jim in the chat there has ordered a printed miniature of his, a physical copy that's painted. He ordered it like back at the beginning of December. I think that's right, Jim. And he still doesn't have it yet. Here we are mid-January, still doesn't have the product. If you're going to run a company that's where your real monetization comes off the printing of stuff after the fact, you need to be able to get the product out to your customers, right? Matt says the D&D cover looks like they're giving the dragon a manicure. Yeah, exactly. Jim says yes for $57. Wow, you paid $57 for the painted miniature. Wow, that's steep, and you still don't have it. Well, I hope these guys from that are coming over from Daggerheart and Critical Role get ready, because they're about to pay through the nose for stuff, and if they order anything physical, I'm sure it's going to make the wait times go way up. So we'll see. But anyway, he goes on to say here, people aren't mad at Hero Forge, or maybe they are, I don't know. But if you ask me, I'd say that people are mad in general. People are angry that more and more is being demanded of them. People are angry that everything costs something, no matter how small and ephemeral the product. People are angry that companies they admired and respected are proving to be part of the same systems that otherwise make their lives difficult and unpleasant. people are angry that everything is attached to a subscription, that they own nothing. And that's so true. I mean, I couldn't have said it better than this guy here. We're seeing that across the board in all hobbies and facets of the culture and everything else. Oh, you actually meant the One Ring. Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha. But yeah, so Hero Forge is a company that kind of exists out there a little bit on the edge. I hope that they don't screw this up. They've already got people mad at them because of this, and I think they need to I feel that they need to rethink their monetization structure of how they get paid for their product. It's certainly worth something. I mean, the 3D design alone to me is worth something to me, even if you don't buy anything physical or digital off of it. And I'm sure there are probably people that are willing to pay for that, but this kind of layering of costs over the other and microtransactions is not the way to go. Everybody's getting tired of it. And for people to continue to go down this road, I just don't think they're going to see success this way. But, that's me. It's my opinion. Anyway, let's jump out of here. So we're going to jump into the One Ring here in just a minute. Oh, Matt, I think I understand what you meant. That you said that you're talking about the One Ring as far as picking that up. Okay, gotcha. All right. So anyway, we're going to jump over and talk about the One Ring now, and this is something that I feel pretty strongly about. I bought this back when Free League first kickstarted this a few years back, and I've been riding this train ever since. It's been worth it. This has been some good, high quality product. I've talked about this before some, but I really wanted to get a chance to go into this in detail and hopefully show some of you what's out there. That's some really great product with a great theme and really with a great publisher. Free League's customer service is top notch. I have bought physical books before from them. From other companies like other online retailers and stuff. I've just emailed them and told them I bought a copy and asked if I could get the PDF. They were happy to oblige. I asked them if I needed to send them a picture or anything. No, they sent me the PDF. It was cool. And I've heard many similar experiences from others that they've really enjoyed the service and customer support from Free League on all of their products really, but the One Ring stuff has been good. So what is it, right? What is the One Ring? So like I said, it's published by Free League. It is a custom system, although I will say the caveat here is that they have released recently a 5e version of this as well for those that can't get away from that old D20. But this specific system, and I'm not going to be talking about the 5e version. I'm going to be talking tonight about their custom, their in-house system for this. So the other thing is there is a lot of supplements available for this game already. They've supported it well and they continue to have plans to support it. And the way that the game is focused is very cinematic as well. So they have crafted their rules to make you feel like you are in a scene in the movie, in the books as well. I mean, the combat and cinematic nature of the action is, of course, evocative of the movies, but there's several things in there that really bring the books to life in this game as well. From the way that the printing of the books is done, the layout of the books, they use a lot of Tolkien quotes throughout the text, which is really great as well. So they've done an amazing job here, and we're about to jump into this and talk about why. So the first thing to know is that it is set in the year 2965 of the Third Age. So we're squarely between the end of the Battle of Five Armies and the beginning of the Fellowship of the Ring. So we are in this, I don't know, I can't remember. It's like a 70 to 80 year period between those two events. And so there's a lot of things, there's a lot of room to play here. There's things that are happening. Sauron is stirring. Saruman is starting to start to think things a little bit differently. And a lot of, as Galadriel would say in the intro, darkness is creeping back into the forest of the world, and that's kind of the setting of this RPG. And also, compared to the last iteration of this game from Cubicle 7, they made a conscious decision to limit the scope of this game, at least for now, into the region of Eriador. So it allows them to kind of condense things into one area and really focus on developing that to a high degree. And I think that was a good decision. They have allowed some of the cultures from outside of Eriador to creep in a little bit, but that's okay. We can have travelers and things like that. But when you make your character, you're picking one of the cultures in Eriador. The elves of Lindon, the elves of Rivendell, the rangers of the north, the men of Bree, and then the men of Barding from Lake Town, and then you've also got the dwarves that live in the east there. So all of those cultures, as well as the hobbits of the Shire. So everything is condensed into Eriador, right? So what's depicted here, you see on the right, is the starter set. They actually have two starter sets for the One Ring. They have this one here that I show that is focused on the Shire, and it's two things in one. It's a source book for the Shire, practically, and it is also a starter set with adventure and pre-made characters and things like that. So it's a good lead-in. And then recently they've released a new starter set for it. I'm not exactly sure what the theme or setting of that one is, but I'm sure that it's equally useful. So the evocative mechanics that are in the setting. So here I kind of want to start diving into this and let you know what you're here for, right? What makes the One Ring great, and why does it evoke Tolkien so well? So there are many reasons. I'm going to point out just a few that are my favorite and the ones that I think make a big difference, but make no mistake, there are many other things within this RPG that evoke the same thing. And I'm not going to go into full detail about the rules and the mechanics of how things work, but I will say just basically the core dice roll is you roll a single D12 feat dice and you roll a number of D6 success dice according to what your skill in a certain area is. So you'll always be rolling one D12 and then a number of D6 based on your skill rating. And you're looking for a target number. So, and that target number is usually, it changes depending on what stat you're rolling against. But just know that that's kind of the core mechanic. If you roll a 1 on the D12, it's considered the Eye of Sauron. It's worth 0 points in the total. And if you roll the 12 on the D12 dice, then that's called the Gandalf rune, and it's like an automatic success. So that's kind of the basic rules. But the first thing on my list here is the thematic advancement through rewards and virtue. So in addition to your core stats, you have two indicators of your character, and that is your valor and your wisdom. Valor representing your bravery and your steadfastness, and wisdom being your knowledge of the world, how you feel about the world around you, and kind of your your mettle, so to speak, as far as the how far into the lore your character has learned, what you know about things, and how things work behind the scenes. So as those stats improve, each time that they improve, you're able to select a reward and a virtue. So when your valor improves, you're able to select a valor reward, and that is usually improved equipment. So there's a list of things that you can choose for that, and it allows you to upgrade some of your armor or your weapons to have some extraordinary abilities. But that's good. That gives you a bonus. But the really cool thing is it allows you to have like named equipment, like named weapons, things like that. And it also gives your equipment a bit of plot immunity. So if you end up going and falling into a pit or something like that, and you have a normal throwaway helmet and it gets lost or crushed or whatever. But if you have a reward item that is an upgraded helmet or something like that, that plot immunity protects that. You don't lose it. So there's the GM is encouraged to protect that equipment from being lost, stolen, whatever. So that's a nice little bonus. And the one thing that I would like to see more as they go is to include more cultural rewards, cultural equipment that you might be able to pick up. That would be something that was cool. Now on the virtue side, when your wisdom goes up, you're allowed to select a cultural virtue. And this is based on your culture that you come from. And you can see here, I've kind of highlighted there the virtues of the hobbits. So these things that you pick are extremely evocative. So for instance, the first one's called the art of disappearing. It says hobbits are said to have little or no magic about them, but the way that they can choose to disappear quickly and quietly can be described by others only as supernatural. And you have learned to choose exactly the right moment to turn away from the attention of others, sometimes unconsciously anticipating the need to disappear. And the mechanic here is if a location or a situation offers even the smallest opportunity to hide or sneak silently away, make a stealth roll. And if you succeed, you simply disappear. And there's others here, brave at a pinch, small folk, sure at the mark, 3 is company. There is a number of these virtues that you can select based on your culture. And these really give you the flavor for the setting. And they're all very unique to Tolkien. Especially the Rangers of the North have some cool, very, very cool things about being able to fight the shadow and things like that. The same like the elves of Rivendell with their noble elven blood and their long lineage of and history of being able to fight the darkness. So that's point one. So the next one is our endurance and hope. I call it the fuel of the fellowship. So endurance is a stat and hope is a stat. So endurance is essentially your hit points in the game, and hope is another stat that measures your ability, your hope and your ability to fight off the darkness from like a mental and psychological point of view. Tackling endurance first, the mechanic there is you end up, you have a certain amount of equipment load that you carry with you. And that's what it's called, is your load. And it's a number of points of value. So all of your weapons and armor and other things like that will total up to give you that number. Now, when your endurance through damage or fatigue or whatnot lowers and it gets below the level of your load, then you become something that's called weary. And that means that whenever you roll those D6 success dice, if you roll a 1, 2, or 3 on them, they count as 0 towards the total difficulty number that you're going. So it's a very interesting way. And so your endurance, you have to really manage that. And you can lose it not just through battle, but through just travel and journeying and the perils of the road, so to speak, can lower that. And it makes you be cautious of how much load that you carry, because you know that as the journey goes on, the more weary you're going to be, right? Now, flipping over to the hope side, that is something that is offset by shadow points. Okay. So your hope level is a certain number of points. And then as things occur to you that have to do with the shadow of Mordor and the enemy, so to speak, you will gain shadow points as you go. And the sources of that are through three things. It is through dread from supernatural things or extremely intimidating foes, through greed, which is finding treasure hoards that are tainted in some way or another. And then lastly is through misdeeds. So if you, swindle someone, or if you break an oath or something of that nature, you can gain shadow points for your misdeeds. Now, as you gain those shadow points, when they cross your current as your hope can go down through play, and that's also through things that happen to you on the road and other things like that. And it can lower from your maximum hope to whatever your current hope is. Now, when the number of shadow points equals your current hope, you become miserable. And the mechanical effect of that is that now when you on that feat die, when you on the D12, when you roll a 1, which is the Eye of Sauron, not only does it provide 0 points, it means that you automatically fail the task. So, and then once that level of shadow gets to your maximum hope, then you enter what's called a bout of madness. Your character will lose their mind or become sullen or run away, or there are various things that can happen related to the madness. But the end result is you end up developing a character flaw long term. After the madness is over, you have a flaw that you must deal with. And those shadow sicknesses build up over time and over the years for your character. So you have your endurance and your hope, the physical side of things, the weariness of the road, the dangers of battle. And then you have the dangers of the spirit on the hope side in the shadow points, the toll that it takes on your psyche and your spirit as you deal with all these things. And it is an incredible way to realize the dangers in Middle Earth, right? And that's what that third point is the shadows and flaws that I just talked about, which is the consequences of weakness. And that goes a very long way to evoke the setting, in my opinion. That's before we even get to the next stuff. But managing your physical aspect on one end and managing your spiritual aspect on the other, and making sure that you have a balance and that you take care of yourself as you play the game and take care of others as well. And I'll show you how that comes into play here in just a minute. So the next one, adventuring Tolkien-style. So the first thing here is the journey system. And this is the heart of Middle Earth to me. Now, a lot of games since this have kind of developed their own journeying mechanics and things like that. And of course, this system is not, unique. There's always been hex crawls and things like that. But this system really goes into the heart of what makes a journey interesting. So does it go day by day? No, it does not go day by day. So what it does is it takes your overall journey of where you're going. Let's say that you're making a trip from Bree to Rivendell. So it'll break that up into certain segments, right? And then in each segment, you're going to make checks for what happens in the journey, things like that. And one of the key things is each one of the player characters in the party is assigned a role. So you can kind of see at the top in the background of the screen there is this section up here is the journey sheet. And so you record the names of your characters in their roles, so like guide, lookout, hunter, scout, and then you start tracking your travel fatigue. So as you make the journey, certain events can cause you to gain fatigue. So things like it's a massive rainstorm, or you have to sleep outside in the wet and without a good camp or a campfire, you gain travel fatigue. And that fatigue is added to the load that I spoke about earlier, which makes you weary faster, right? But there's also opportunities to role play here. So as you go through this journey mechanic, your characters have an opportunity to deal with these things that you find on the road. It doesn't just automatically happen. You have to find a way to deal with it through role play or through your skills and so forth. And so that, and then you'll see on the right there, event 1, 2, 3. So like the first event there is they found a shortcut and they had a success on the roll. And that ends up cutting down on the length of the journey, which means less opportunity to build up that travel fatigue, right? So it's a way to represent the journeys that you see characters in the story make, because that's what the story is. It's a lot of people traveling to a lot of places, and we don't want to get bogged down in the minutia of it, but yet we want to see the effects that it has on your characters, and this is the way to do it, right? So it's great. I love the journey mechanic. And the next one is the fellowship phase. This is a downtime system. So after the journey, after the adventure, you have the opportunity to enter a fellowship phase. And you usually pick, if it's during the year, you will pick a location for all of your characters to go and rest, be it Bree or Rivendell or Linden or wherever it might be. You'll pick a safe place and you'll go there after the adventure, and you'll have your fellowship phase. Now, during that phase, each of your characters will be able to select certain actions that they can undertake. They can rest and relax. They can research. They can spread the news of their adventures. There's a number of different choices that they can make to do. And all of those choices, they can either help you in adventures to come. They can help you deal with your built up shadow points and your built up issues that you have through the journey. It allows you to lower those shadow points by doing things like, sitting around and telling stories with the elves, or, various things like that. And it also allows you to begin building for your legacy. So at some point, your characters, after many adventures, they're going to become so weary that you're going to want to kind of retire them. And so this system allows you to build a legacy, and you can start building up resources for your next follow-on character. And it can be an heir to your first one, or it can be a friend or something like that. But it's a legacy gaming system. You're not just playing one set of characters, you're playing a lineage of characters leading up to the War of the Ring. So in setting that aside, the last thing that I wanted to talk about was the landmarks system. And this kind of dispenses with the typical clearing of dungeons and the minutia of that, and it distills locations down into landmarks. And a number of the supplement books that have come out have given a large selection of that, which I'll talk about here in just a little bit. But essentially, what it does is a landmark is a self-contained adventuring site, so to speak. It could be a grove, a castle, a bog, like the dead marshes or anything like that. It can be considered a landmark. So think of like Weathertop, or think about the Mirkwood, certain locations in the Mirkwood forest, like the bridge and the bridge setting in The Hobbit, or various other things like that. All of those are landmarks. And what they do is they take those landmarks and they start by giving you a breakdown of the location, what's there, what's the story. Then they'll give you a look at the setting as far as as adventure locations within that landmark. They'll go through it and talk about and describe those in detail. They will give you a series of events that will occur at that landmark and characters that you can meet if there are those. And then that allows you as the GM, it's not a linear adventure site. You can take the things that are offered to you and kind of make it go in various directions. So one of the great supplements that they released recently was Moria. Right. So if you were to think about the whole dungeon of Moria, you would be overwhelmed by it. It's a massive, it's, like a whole mountain and everything underneath it. But what they do here is they take that and they divide Moria up into sections and landmarks. So this here that you see on the screen is an example of that. So what you're looking at is the first hall. The flavor text here from the book, it says, "They ran on, the light grew before them, great shafts pierced the roof. They ran swifter, they passed into a hall, bright with daylight from its high windows in the east." And the first hall of Moria was Durin's hall, the home of Father of the Longbeards in the days before the making of the sun and the moon. So there you go. So you've got Moria broke down into all of these landmark locations. It'll tell you the background of the area. You've got a little vignette map that you can see there that has the numbered locations of the site. It'll tell you the NPCs, the enemies that are lurking there, and possible events that can occur. And this allows you to mix and match. And as the GM, you can craft an overarching story by linking these landmarks together. And that's the real point that I want to make here is you can look at these and as the GM, look at what interests you, what you think your players might be interested in, and then you start tying these together into a coherent story that makes sense. And they've come up with some of these themselves, which we'll talk about here in just a second. But I just wanted to really stress here that this allows you to take some of the key, really cool locations in Middle Earth and turn those into a story that's worthwhile that your players are going to enjoy. So Jim says, "You're making me want to play." I know, me too, right? We need to make that happen. Okay, so lastly here, Eriador fully realized. So I just wanted to talk about really what is out there and available for it, and what it is that you can pick up for the game that will help you out. So first of all, there are two books for Eriador. One of them is a landmark book, and that is the Tales from the Lone Lands. And there's another one, and I can't remember the exact name, but one of them is essentially just a list of a book collecting landmarks throughout Eriador. And then the other one, it has the same, but it strings them together into a possible overarching story. And you don't have to do it that way, but it certainly talks about how to do that. And it really is good because those bring together some of the parts of Eriador that you see on the map. And that was always the cool thing to me is you see these maps, right? And you see all these locations that they never really talk about in the books or the movie or very much. And you think, wow, man, what's there? What's so cool about that? Like for instance, the Tower Hills on the western borders of the Shire. The Tower Hills have always fascinated me. Those elven, those ancient towers that stand there. I never really knew who built them or what they were for, but of course I learned later, how they came about. But it was a mystery to me, and it was always very interesting. And that's one of the landmark locations that they bring out. It's a cool place to visit. If you're lucky, you can go up and you can see. You can take a look at the Seeing Stone that's up in one of the towers. It's pretty cool. So, you've got those two books. You have the Realm of the Three Rings, and that book details the three elven kingdoms in detail. So, three of them. You get Lothlorien, you get Rivendell, and you get Lindon, and it tells you about the major players there. It gives you more options for playing characters from those locations and so forth. And then you have the complete Moria campaign. Man, I cannot tell you how good of a book that is. The map alone of Moria is worth the price of the book. And then you get Moria fully laid out for you from stem to stern. all the way from the Western Gate all the way to the Mirror, I think it's called, where the stairs of Durin are on the east side. So from end to end, everything in between, from the top of Moria all the way to the deepest depths, the deepest mines. So, and there's many adventure landmark locations to be had through there. It tells you, it also, so once you're in Moria, you use the journey rules inside Moria to get from one zone to the other, which is an amazing way to handle it. It gives you unique options for travel events while you're inside Moria and so forth. It's a fully realized campaign all by itself. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about is they did release a solo tool set for the One Ring called Strider Solo Mode, and this allows you to play one character. And I have not looked at it in detail yet. I do want to look at that at some point, but it's just nice for those of you that enjoy the solo aspect of RPGs and gaming, that a lot of companies and game makers are starting to include solo options for their games, and so it's good to see that here as well. And then oh yeah, I almost forgot, they also recently released The Hands of the White Wizard. So that is a new book where you get to, and this is a very interesting take, your patron is Saruman. So he is sending you on missions, and there's a whole set of landmarks and things like that. It details Orthanc in detail as a landmark location itself, and it allows you to play as his company, so to speak, going out and performing missions and doing his bidding, so to speak, leading up to the War of the Ring. And I haven't read the plot in detail, but it seems like towards the end of that, your characters start getting a hint that things are a little amiss there, right? So I think that would be a very interesting way to play, and something that I have not thought about before. But anyway, that wraps up what I wanted to show you. I hope that I was able to convince you this is the game to play if you want to play in Lord of the Rings. This is the game that you want to play if you want a setting that evokes the setting material in a perfect way, in my opinion. It's probably my favorite game that's out there right now, and I really hope that you would give it a try. So that's the One Ring, guys. So if you have any questions about it, post in the chat, post it in the video afterwards if you're watching this later. I'd love to talk to you about it. It's one of my favorite topics. And if you have questions, I'd be glad to answer it, or give any advice if you're looking for advice. Jim says, I love character development. Yeah, the character development in that game is interesting, and it's very thematic as well. Yep, I agree. So anybody have anything else before we wrap up tonight? If not, we're gonna call it here in just a little bit. But I do want to say, and I said before, I want to thank you for the new subscribers. But I want to say that if you're watching this and you enjoyed what you saw tonight, I hope that you would give me a subscribe and a like on the video and a share if you enjoy it. And, if you want to see things that I haven't talked about that would be interesting, let me know. I'd be happy to take a look at it. I have a review coming out soon as a dedicated video. I'm going to be reviewing a game called Drifter. It's a game that one of my viewers asked me to review. It's their game, and they asked me to take a look at it. So I was happy to do so. And I'm pleased to say that I've finished a game in it, and I'll give you my review of it. And so look forward to that here soon, and look forward to the stream on Friday. Again, I stream here every Tuesday and Friday at 7:00, and I hope to see you next time. So thanks for joining tonight. I hope you had a good time. I did, and we'll see you next time. Good night.